Hey, listen, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Chicago Bulls Breeze. I got the fellas in here with me, but we're going to go into right now. This is a play-in edition. By the way, we only get one of these. So we get in play-in edition of the Chicago Bulls Breeze. Will the Chicago Bulls be able to outlast the Atlanta Hawks and maybe potentially, last against maybe the Miami Heat? We'll talk about that and more right after this. Looking at this right now. We got the squad in here. As you all know, we got my boy, Pat the Designer. I can't stand this dude. We got Pat the Designer. We got my man JC in the back on the ones and twos right there. My man Stefan the Don back there. I see you. He's a resident Heat fan back there. I don't know why he's even on the show. But right now we're going to get into something real quick. We're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls in the play-in tournament. We have the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. Now, the Atlanta Hawks have been one of those teams where we've kind of go back and forth in the series. We've had some fits with them, but I think ultimately we've had the number. I want to pose this question to you all. What are our chances? What do you really think is going to happen in this situation where it's one game, winner takes all, move on to the next one? What do you think happens?
I think this is a tough one for the Bulls. I think this is a game where not having Andre Drummond, if we don't have Andre Drummond, is going to be very difficult to overcome. Even if we do have Andre Drummond, right, it's a hobbled Andre Drummond. Is he going to be able to give you more? They got a couple of nice bigs down there. You got Clint Capella. You got Onyeka Okongwu. You have some really good players at the center position, especially as far as rebounding and finishing around the rim. And then on top of that, I mean, you look at even some of of course, the big names are Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, but they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. Trae Young and DeJounte, I've said this the entire time, they don't fit very well together. No. But you're talking about how things match up. When you talk about a 3-pack from small forward all the way to your center position of AJ Griffin, Clint Capella, and Onyeka Okongwu, I just think the Bulls, listen, at a certain point, you got to win size. And the Bulls lose at two things every single game. They lose at math and they lose at size. And that's a problem.
They lose at math. What do you mean by they lose at math?
They don't take enough shots. They literally, the object of the game is to shoot the basketball, and they just don't take enough shots. Legitimately, looking at the numbers that the Bulls, let me pull these up here. Offensive rating this season, 114. That's 19th in the NBA. Defensive rating this season, 115. That's 22nd in the NBA. So you got a point differential, which is why we are where we are as far as clutch games and stuff like that. Second chance points, they're 21st in the NBA. Points in the paint, they're 21st in the NBA. So you're not getting enough second chance points. You're not scoring the basket. You're not attacking the rim enough. We know where they are, 3-pointers per game, 26th at 11 or 3 points. Yeah, 3-pointers per game, 11 and a half 3-pointers per game. Like, it's not enough.
I feel like Pat came in as a Debbie Downer on this whole thing. I mean, I saw nothing positive out of this man.
You know why? Because it's 4 years of the same team.
It is 4 years.
And you're heading into, guess what? Another play-in tournament where can I see the Bulls beating the Atlanta Hawks? Sure. Yep. I think that there's a possibility. I think that Atlanta's a team that gives games away, and they play zero defense. DeMar DeRozan is going to have 45. I honestly believe it. DeMar's going to have 45 one way or the other. But you have to be able to get rebounds. You have to take shots. You have to make shots, and that's those are all the areas that the Bulls struggle in. We figured this out, by the way. Me and Hayes said the Bulls are trying to be a netball team. You ever seen that?
No.
Netball is that weird sport where like there's just a rim in the middle, and they just throw the ball in, but there's like nothing else that happens. You know what I mean?
The funny thing about it is, I'll be honest with you, this is the battle of two teams with no identity. The Hawks with Trae Young look totally different than the Hawks without him. And if I'm being honest, they look better without him.
Yeah.
DeJounte Murray does so much more for the Hawks to me as a playmaker, getting everyone else involved. Whereas when you have Trae Young at his size and what he does, he is the system. Like, you have to actually work and operate around him as opposed to anything else. DeJounte is a little different. He can work within that system. He can be a part of a system. He can actually elevate some others around him. I don't know if Trae Young elevates anyone other than Clint Capella, who is the recipient of your catching, your running, your driving kick, things of that nature.
Yeah.
That's really the situation there. And you've seen that player in history. You've seen Clint Capella with James Harden with that high usage rate. Well, Clint Capella 8 with that. Why? Because James Harden, all he did was drive to the cup. And when he attracted all the defense, what do? He just put it up there and Clint just rim ran. That's all he did. So, like, realistically, he's in his natural environment in that. But if you eliminate that, if you force Trae Young to do something else, if you force him to do more, you have a totally different looking Hawks team that's kind of a little defunct. And coming off a game where they just got smoked by the Pacers. I mean, they just lost by 40, realistically.
Yeah, 157, 115.
I think this is a moment, and they didn't have Trae Young.
I think the Pacers had 89 at the half.
The Pacers had 89 at the half.
And I don't think Trae Young played in that game. In fact,
Trae Young did play. Trae Young played 32 minutes in that game. He had 12 points, 12 assists.
Right. So we're looking at a situation where,
right.
I know. We're looking at a situation where we have this defunct team coming into the situation. I'm not saying that the Bulls are head and shoulders better. Yeah. You've given me the stats. Hey, you've given us the offensive rating. The Hawks are rated higher. You've given us the defensive rating. I think we beat them in that one slightly.
Yeah.
But realistically, like, it's the team of no identity. So which Hawk team you get really matters. I have us beating them. So this is not solely a matchup with the Hawks because I am projecting that we beat them. But I do think it comes down to one thing. I do think the Hawks have a better coach. I think he's a coach that has inherited a system, though he has to figure out what to do. I think Quinn is a much better coach.
I think Quinn's problem is he's too much of a player's coach. Quinn is Billy Donovan. I think that Quinn is a guy who
is this Bailey Zappi and
he hasn't. Yeah, I mean, like I think legitimately he hasn't set the standard on who's the lead dog, who's not the lead dog, and that's why this team struggles. You need to have like they just pick games on which guy's going to be the point guard. And I've said this, right? Like, neither of these guys an off-ball player, so you got to figure out kind of how to make that work for this team. But I don't think he's done a good job at making it work at all. I think that you're kind of looking at a mirror of yourself. The advantage I'll give Quinn Snyder is better inbound plays. Billy Donovan is terrible at inbound plays. I don't know that play he ran against the Knicks. I'm just like,
you know why I give him a nod? I give him a Snyder nod over him is because
Dan Snyder. Don't give him.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Excuse me. My bad. Hey, step up. We could definitely go get you involved in here because I want to get your takes on, especially when we get into the Miami Heat. But no, actually, you rocking with us. What you got? What you think?
In terms of this whole Atlanta Bulls playing situation, I mean, the styles make fights. I mean, when I look at this, right, I mean, Pat has brought up the rebound issue, but I'm looking at what are you going to do with the others? Like AJ Griffin, Bogdanovich, for that matter, has, he's caught one heat check, and then he's also went off multiple times against them. I mean, listen, the Hawks, for all of their struggles, I mean, they're 5th in points per game, 6th in pace. And then after that, you talking about they get up about 14 threes a game. But, I mean, even if you look at it, you got to have defense and rebounding in these playoff games. And the Hawks got one of the two. I mean, they're 3rd in terms of offensive rebounds, 6th in total rebounds for the year. So I just think this is a bad matchup, especially if you don't have Drummond playing. And, listen, if Bogdan gets on a heater, I just think it's over.
Now, the one thing I did tweak on, Okongwu was not going to be in there.
Oh, Okongwu. Okay,
wait,
that's something.
I forgot about that. He's out.
Yeah, that's something there.
At least 4 weeks with inflammation, so he's not going to be. I mean, he's probably not going to be a part of this whole Atlanta run. But I mean, it's a lot of size to come back.
I will say this:
Jalen Johnson as well.
You look at the Bulls and the Hawks. The last time they played in February. Drummond
only DeJounte on that team.
Trey
didn't play that game.
True, and
and they were a different looking team. They looked better. They looked like, oh, this is what you want to see.
Actually, Trey did play that game.
Or maybe that was his first game back. It was light.
They both played 35 minutes.
It wasn't light.
Yeah. Trae Young. This is a February game, by the way, February 12th. Trae Young was 3 of 14 from the field at 19 points. DeJounte was 7 of 17, had 17 points. Most of their team played. The only person that didn't play was Capella, which is I think that's a big thing here. But the reason I'm referencing this is because Andre Drummond only played 16 minutes in that game, which means that for a good portion of this particular game, you had realistically the same roster that's going to be out there tomorrow.
Yeah,
for the most part. And if you really look at it, Demar was Demar, but this is where the X factors. No Terry Taylor. But this is where your X factors come in, and obviously you have your the mainstays of Vooch showing up. Vooch had 24 points. Coby White showed up, but the others really have to kick in. For me, I think it's going to boil down to Ayo Dosunmu like he did last time. Ayo really had 29 points, 12 of 18. You got to think of it. He's 5 of 7 from the 3, which is crazy for Ayo, by the way. But like it really boils down to that because they don't defend well. Like if you have Trae Young on the floor, who does he defend well?
Nobody. He can't defend.
That's your matchup right there. So like you go zone, all right, I'm literally going to that side of the zone. If you go man to man, that person needs to be taken off. And if that's Ayo, well, this is Ayo's time to cook. Realistically, I know that we're not looking at a playoff team. I'm not expecting the Bulls, and this is a little nod to the Miami Heat. I'm not expecting the Chicago Bulls to make a Cinderella Miami Heat run to the finals.
Yeah.
But I am looking at some young players. It would be real nice.
That'd be crazy.
But I'm looking at some young players to be able to make their mark because this is still technically a playoff game. Technically, postseason a little bit. And you have some people who can really start to build their career, their reputation. And this is either a Coby White game, this is an Ayo game, but this is one of those moments where if they step up, that confidence, you can ride a high into the playoffs. Now, we might get smacked if we make it there. Yeah. That's different.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get there. And ultimately, I think for the most part, I got them winning. Who do you have?
Bulls. I think Atlanta beats the Bulls. But I guess if we get through, they match up all right with Miami.
They match up all right. And that's going to be the next part right there, Stefan. Who you got?
I got Atlanta.
Of course you do. And my man JC,
he won Atlanta. Atlanta, the easier matchup.
My man JC.
I know if we win, we're going straight through.
Feeling that whip. Who you got? We gotta get that vote in.
You just want to hear my raspy voice. I got.
Hey, yo. I actually got a crazy pause, but that's like that's after this.
You gonna tell us the pause?
You gonna tell us the pause and not tell the
what was going on with that?
Okay, yesterday.
Here we go.
A story?
No. Hey, yesterday. So this what happened. So we had for those of y'all that watch, we had our it was our circuit assembly, and my dad usually records.
Oh Jesus! You said pause at the circuit assembly in the same story.
No, but look though.
It's not going well.
So Pat was talking to my dad about his fit because my dad was like, "Hey, you got a nice fit." And then Pat was like, "Oh yeah, I had this in the closet." He was like, and then he messed up and was like, "Yeah, I'm coming out the closet." And then he said, "Oh, that's on video."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a crazy pause.
You said, it's literally on video. It's on video.
I said this something I had in the closet. Yeah, I mean, he was like, "Yeah, you stay in that closet." I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the closet." And I was like, "Wait a minute, hold on now."
it's on video, dog.
On the recording. Yeah, that's tough.
All right, moving right along.
I don't know how we got there. He just cut off Jordan to tell that story.
Jordan didn't give us his pick at all.
He let the inner thoughts take over.
I don't know. Which team did you want me to go?
Who you got? Bulls versus Hawks. Who you got?
Oh, well, definitely. I think the Bulls will. Now that he said that Okongwu is not going to play, I think that gives us a better chance as far as sides because I completely forgot Drummond's not going to be involved. So Vooch is not somebody I trust at all in the paint as far as defense. So we're going to have to rely on everybody else to really shoot that ball and have a high percentage of shots. So I still got the Bulls.
Still got the Bulls.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Now, I would go further into this conversation, but I realized that the Bulls play tomorrow, and then us venturing off even further probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense because
well, I mean, I would hope you're going to drop this sooner than tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to drop tonight.
All right.
So, so we're going to save the Miami Heat because, Miami Heat might not even make it. Miami Heat might actually win and beat the Sixers, and we got to face the
Sixers. Jesus.
If we face the Sixers, that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's over.
Anyway, that's season. Man. Curtains, baby.
Hey, wrap it up there.
Hey, what's Joel Embiid's record against us? 12-1.
Well, it don't. Listen.
No, I don't think he played that game that they won.
He played on.
He played one.
He played. Our record versus Philly is 12-2 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But one of the games he didn't play in, we beat him. One of the games he did play and we beat him, and I think that was this season. Was the first time we had beat him.
Oh yeah, because that's when Kobe started going on.
Yeah, Kobe was cooking. He was going to work on Max.
Yeah, so And this was off the rails quick, man. Listen. Here's the thing. The season has been a dumpster fire. We all agree. But the one thing we can take from this, and I hate to be like glass half full type guy, but when you walk into a season where your number one, maybe number two guy doesn't want to be there, you go off a disastrous start. And to still fight back and be in this situation, we could not even be in this situation. This could be a situation where Coby White doesn't develop, Ayo doesn't step into his own, stuff like that. We still have questions on Patrick Williams, which are legitimate questions because he got hurt. I don't put injury on someone but you got to stay on the floor though. But I don't put injury on everyone. So like realistically, what would that have looked like if he was healthy? There's a lot of what ifs that comes to this team that kind of lean to me saying, hey, you know what, continuity probably would have worked out. I just look back at the Denver Nuggets of old. It was a good moment where they was like, you kind of a fixture in the West, but no one really cares. Now look at them, So who knows what's going to develop? Who knows what's there? And so I'm optimistic about this Bulls team. I really am moving forward. In part, is anything else you all want to share?
No, I think, listen, this season has been this season, and let's get it over with.
The season's been the season. Hey, listen, we appreciate you all for tuning in. We will still have more content because realistically, I'm more excited about the offseason for the Bulls than I am the season. Simply because, for real, what's going to happen with DeMar? Is Vooch still that viable big man and a half? Or is that a trade piece? What happens with Ayo and Kobe and how you work that out? I know they just re-upped and they just re-signed, but again, the development and how you play them, what's going to happen? Is Billy Donovan going to kick rocks? Hopefully so. But we have all that coming. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.